right, here we go. Betting Weekly Live. Here with you on a Monday. Mike Carver along with Doug Kezirian as we get you ready for all of tonight's action. We have got a big Monday in college hoops with a couple of ranked matchups. Full night of NBA. We got some pucks tonight. March is here. Let's go. Hi, Doug. Happy Monday.
You know, we last left you on Friday saying, well, it's going to be this. Both of my best bet options lost. So there was no woulda, coulda, shoulda. It happens. I'm very annoyed, very upset, but I needed to address that because I would have been whining if one of them won.
Yeah, and then I was kind of on the other side of it. I think the two that I was going back and
Nailed
forth
it.
with both came through for me. And I wish I would. You know what? Buffalo came through, so I can't complain. But I had a feeling Utah also there on Friday night, so worked out very well. And stunningly, that situation we've been talking about, Doug, about the second night of that Colorado-Utah back-to-back, of all the teams that have been laid to rest on the second night of that thing, somehow the Blackhawks, one of the worst teams in the NHL this year, won last night in Utah after playing Colorado Saturday, Utah Sunday. So that amazingly, one of the worst teams somehow found a way to get through it. So, you know, they don't all win, Doug, as we say sometimes. They don't all...
and a lot of times the handicapping angle will work out, and a lot of other times it won't. But sometimes when it works out, people think, you know, it's confirmation bias, right? So they think their angle, like, let's say Duke does not cover tonight. And it's like, see, off the big win. Like, it could have been just like, you know, one guy has the flu or another thing that we don't even know, or just randomness. But that's the thing is you take trends, so-and-so's this on the road or home. It has so many other moving parts. I mean, just think about all this racket as a chemistry experiment, right? And you have all these things, and then you have a result. And you change like 7 things, get a different result, and you're choosing one of those 7 changes as the reason. You just don't know. And that's something to keep in mind. So now, when it's something as, I don't know, blatant or obvious as the Olympic break and all that, yeah, okay, we can pretty much deduce that that's what's going on here. But to your point, you know, nothing's guaranteed, and that's why they play the game.
And I'll say this as well for the weekend, and this will kind of take us into the opening line here on a Monday. I know Friday night we just talked about, but Saturday, Doug, college hoops, we had a monster day. We had so much stuff on Saturday. All the revenge angle spots were great. The under in Gonzaga St. Mary's was great again. I mean, Wyoming, Air Force covered that huge number against Wyoming. There was so many things on Saturday. I hope everybody tuned in because I know I took a lot of the stuff we talked about Friday, Doug, and I applied it on Saturday. I had a huge Saturday in college hoops.
Yeah, I was in a contest on Saturday where I had to pick 5 games. And, you know, I'm known as the betting bully, like not afraid to just pick on the bad teams, like the Rockies last year and Air Force. And I come with Air Force plus 22.5 as one of my 5 best plays. I almost made it my best bet. And they couldn't believe it. And I said, look, I made the number 15. So if it was 13, I would have looked like an idiot because Air Force had the lead late. So it's not like I thought Air Force would hang around and even maybe win. It was a fate of Wyoming more than it was a potential fate of Air Force. So you're right. We saw the ball pretty well. St. Mary's got there. Gonzaga couldn't score. The Virginia line was high for a reason. We learned that.
Yeah.
This Duke team's pretty impressive, but either way, like we're seeing the ball well, but I'll say this, like, just because you're excited with March Madness around the corner, Champ Week, there's some conference tournament, even play-in today on the horizon, just treat it like any other day, right? Like, don't let the excitement dictate. Like, if you need higher volume, go lower units. You know, it's just, you got to be really careful out there. And also, I mean, it's why it's March Madness. The calendar's officially in March. So as the incentives, or at least the stakes, go up, I think the randomness does too. Like, we have more buzzer beaters. I swear we don't have these buzzer beaters during the regular season. So just, you know, the excitement's there. Also, don't force pre-flop. Like, you can watch a game, but just realize the books clean up with this stuff. So really have to have a good angle. That we have the familiarity of conference tournaments, right? The coaches. That's why we talked about Gonzaga and St. Mary's going under. So soon we'll have the big dance with unfamiliarity. But again, the tournament structure, a lot of these places have one site instead of home court. These are all things to factor in. Like, yeah, just remember typically the best money making opportunities are behind us.
You're so right. And I felt like those were a couple of other things even on Saturday that I was honing in on. You don't have to be there pre-flop before the game. I was watching that New Mexico game, didn't have anything on it going in. They were down in that first half, caught New Mexico plus 4.5. They ended up winning the game. We talked about UCLA and Minnesota being an under, and I know it didn't start that way, but they scored 80 plus points in the first half. Live under was good to me in the second half, Doug. It was in like the high 150s. We were able to get it home. So I think you're right about that. Just watch these situations, and you don't have to be in there before, but just watch the game, and you can jump in on something that's a lot better than you would have got before the game got going.
And if you miss a game that you could have had, like, don't forget all the ones that were dead losers that you didn't bet either. Like, I know what it's like. Trust me, I do. And I battle this every day, the FOMO, all that stuff. But just, there's a sports fan in you somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Tap into that a little bit, not just the gambler.
That's it. Got to do that sometimes. All right, let's get to it. It is a new week, a Monday on Betting Weekly Live, and we have action tonight. And we'll start in college hoops because it is March. Let's go. This is the last week for the big conferences in the regular season. Next week is championship week. The mid-major conferences, a lot of them are going to start their tournaments this week, including the Horizon, which is going to be the first one to get going tonight. Let's go here, Doug, with this Iowa State-Arizona game to kick things off. Number 6, Iowa State, visiting number 2, Arizona. Arizona, a smash job on Kansas on Saturday. 7.5 for the Wildcats here, 149.5 the total.
Yeah, I really want to fade both teams, right? Arizona off the monster win. We talked about the revenge angle. They obviously took care of Kansas. But this Texas Tech team, I want no part of. I've said all along, I don't love their guards. I do like their bigs. They play within themselves. They go a little inside out to open threes. But I just haven't been in love with this Iowa State team. And, man, I was really close to laying it with the Cyclones as one of my top plays, and they got beat outright. So I've been disappointed with this Iowa State squad. And yes, we know about Hilton Magic, although it was pretty non-existent on Saturday. I don't want any part of the Cyclones here. It's a relatively big number, but we just saw Arizona dust Kansas. So I will say this. I think ISU is going to play hard, and I think they're going to bring it. And I just think Arizona might be just too good with Pete back, right? Like, that's key, right? They get the big guy back, and I lean Arizona here, but it's not a play as much as I want it to be.
Yeah, when I first thought of it, Doug, it seemed a little heavy to me, but then I started thinking about all those situations we had Saturday where it seemed a little heavy, and almost all of them got home.
Well, and the market's coming down. So, if it gets to 6, who knows what can happen between now and tip off.
Right.
If it gets to 6, I'm firing on the Wildcats. It's also the time of year. If this were middle January, fine. But I think Arizona's kind of reached that next gear, the push towards March Madness. I think that's an important component of this. I was just talking about trends a second ago. A lot of times it's like, well, remember I talked about this with Michigan. No, they're not good on the road. They've struggled. Yeah, okay. That was also January. This is a different situation. For me, if this got to like 6, it's Arizona or pass.
There you go for tonight. And that's the 9 o'clock East tip on ESPN. And the game that will precede that will be the ACC game at 7 o'clock East, where Duke, who has been rolling now after smashing Virginia on Saturday afternoon, they are 9.5-point road favorites in Raleigh against NC State. This totals 150.5. Duke just going to keep rolling along here, Doug, even on the road, smashing all these teams?
I mean, it's getting expensive to keep fading them, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, they've only covered 4 in a row. They had a run of 4 straight non-covers. But remember, that was the fluky performance against Clemson. Remember, they're like down 20 with like 2.5 to go and somehow cover 13.5. Pitt was a gross cover by Pitt. Carolina, they blew the lead up 5, but still that was an outright loss as a big favorite, or sort of a big favorite. And then that BC game, which we all saw coming a mile away because it was right before Carolina. So other than some gross covers and maybe one, like, this Duke team's been pummeling teams. And I do like NC State, but they beat up on bad teams. I mean, Carolina, they just got manhandled at the Dean Dome. Couldn't hit a shot for most of the game. I think it's Duke or pass, but at some point, Duke's going to show they're human, aren't they?
I really want to take NC State tonight, but I think that this is going to be another one of those ones, Doug, where I'm not going to, like we just said, not going to force anything, not going to play it just for the sake of playing it.
Right.
I'm going to let it start, maybe watch the first 5-7 minutes, feel it out a little bit, see if NC State's in the mix, and if they are, maybe I'll jump in then, because I think the number will still be close enough in the first 5-10 minutes of the game as opposed to halftime or something like that, if it feels like NC State's going to be live here tonight at home against Duke in this one. Here's David here. Virginia looked like the Patriots. Easy schedule and finally played a tough team and got boat raced. And the funny thing is, Doug, I mean, we mentioned them, I think, 60-1 last week when we were talking about them in terms of national title. And I know after losing to Duke, I saw that drop maybe around 80 or 90 after they lost that game. So it seems like the books at least maybe lost a little faith in Virginia after getting smashed the way that they did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not ready to go there quite yet. I thought the win over Miami's quality win, but it's not a bad sort of parallel. If you look at the schedule, it's like they're racking up wins against Notre Dame, BC, Pitt, Syracuse, FSU. Even Ohio State's not that great, and that was a lucky win on a neutral. Beating SMU's nothing to, hang a banner about. So, yeah, I mean, maybe they are the Patriots. The more I think about it, well done. Well done, David.
Nice job by David in the chat box here today, bringing that to the table as Virginia. Not a good scene for them. So those are your big Monday games tonight, the big heavy ranked games. But there are other games on the schedule, Doug, for tonight. Haven't gone to the Big Sky very often here on Betting Weekly Live, but we will tonight with Idaho, the Vandals, heading to Eastern Washington this evening. And Eastern Washington, it's funny, Doug, they're you look at them, they're 13-17 overall, but they're 11-6 in conference and right there at the top with how well that they've played recently.
And how about this? 8 straight covers for Eastern Washington. How do you not fire on them? It's a short number. I think you have to play it. And you mentioned the conference tournaments. I heard this for the first time this weekend. So we know we have March Madness, right? Yeah. And then you have in the Valley, right? In the Missouri Valley, you have Arch Madness. Do you know what this one's called with Idaho involved?
Oh, boy.
Starch Madness.
Oh.
The dad jokes are just so good. So, yeah, I think you have to do – if you need action tonight, this team's red hot. I don't think the market's correcting. I don't think the odds makers even have a clue that they've covered 8 straight. They're just churning out numbers and have so much going on. I think you have to play Eastern Washington, if at all.
Man, 3.5 now for Eastern Washington here at home against Idaho. Lots of Big Sky games. I think tonight's the last game of the regular season for the Big Sky as they get themselves ready for Starch Madness coming up here. I love these. It is great. Everyone's got to have a gimmick now.
Can't AI do this too? Like, just come up with a name. I mean, AI has been amazing.
All right. Now, it's championship week. Our first conference tournament game of March is tonight. It's in the horizon. They have a play-in. This is to move on to go get smashed, I guess. I guess the winner probably plays Wright State or something like that, whoever won the regular season. And there they are, IU Indy, IUPUI, visiting the Vikings of Cleveland State. These two teams, 7-24 and 10-21 this year. Cleveland State -1.5. And because it's IU Indy, Doug, that big total is now 168.5 for this game.
I mean, it's a high number, isn't it, for a game that's supposed to have intensity and
elimination game.
Yeah. Now, I faded Cleveland State on Saturday with Bobby Moe. I was laying 13.5, and they're down double digits early. And I'm thinking, I thought the Vikings would, have one foot out the door, focused on Monday, a play-in game. First ever elimination game, by the way, in the Horizon tourney, I believe, ever. So it's the 11 and 10 seeds duking it out. I thought Cleveland State would be – now, they just went ice cold in the second half. Bobby Moe finally got their act together and won by 20. because Bobby Moe needed the win to get the 2 seed. But man, I had some egg on my face laying 13, 14 and a half, and they're down double digits. I don't know what to make of this IU PUI team or any IU Indianapolis. These wild cards, right? These unique styles and everything. Like, you just don't know if it was sort of like, yeah, it was fun in the early season, right? Like, is this team really just gonna be run and gun? I think it's just too massive of a total. I lean under, but Cleveland State will get up and down. But I mean, their last game landed 156. I just watched this Cleveland State team. It was Brick City. Like, they could not make it basket. So now the first meeting went 185. I don't know, man. I just feel like I just watched this Vikings team and they couldn't make anything.
Wasn't the second meeting though that was a little lighter, right?
Yeah, it was 150 something.
150. So yeah, 156 in the second meeting between the two. I don't know, Doug. I know you want to get the Horizon League tour, but I mean, both these teams stink at the end of the day. Like, I kind of felt Cleveland State, and I was like, you know what? No reason to do this. I think the under, like you say, would be the one way, because maybe it's close in the last 5-7 minutes of the game, and everyone's looking for, they're buckling down to get to that Wright State matchup coming up on Wednesday. So you could see things slow. So under or nothing, I'm with you for this one. Let's go to the Southland next. Another conference we haven't gotten too much of. We brought up these teams a couple of times, I guess you could say. As Stephen F. Austin and McNeese are both in the mix to win the regular season title. Now, Stephen F. Austin has the advantage. They win tonight at Incarnate Word, and they will win the regular season title in the Southland. If they were to slip up, McNeese can win it at Nichols. Both of these McNeese game is actually on national TV, Doug. They're on CBS Sports Network against Nichols, as they're laying 10.5 on the road. Stephen F. Austin's laying, I think I just saw they're 6.5 on the road. I think you brought this up last week in one of these smaller conferences. Do these teams care? I guess Stephen F. Austin would like to win the conference, right? Minus 6.5 against an awful team. They should be able to take care of that business, no?
They should. Now, McNeese, a week ago tonight, was a similar 7-point favorite or so and lost outright. So, do with that what you will. Now, McNeese, I think, took care of business. I'm not 100% sure.
Stephen F. Austin lost to New Orleans last month.
Yes, it was definitely against New Orleans. That's who won, the home underdog or something. But I got no read of this. This is one of those, you got to know what's really going on in the locker room. I believe in that. Like, one of these teams got a foot out the door, transfer portal, all that stuff, and another is sort of reaching, that final push and maybe thinks they're better than they've been playing lately. This is their chance. Coach has made some adjustments in the starting lineup. I mean, I think these are all variables that I think really apply this time of year.
I think the one thing that would probably have to tip the scales for me, and I did not go and look at it, and maybe I will before we get out of here, is there that big of an advantage of being the 1 versus the 2 in the Southland? I'm sure that there is. Is it a home court situation? I'd have to go and look and see, because if that were the case, Doug, I would think Stephen F. Austin would be on their best behavior tonight on the road at Incarnate.
Well, and I think that's an important topic to bring up. So, do they care only about the higher seed of the tournament, or do they want to win their conference title? Right? Like, there's something to be said. Like, they're kind of into it. I mean, this is important to them, right? We look at it through the lens of our bracket and all the elimination and stuff and bid stealing and everything. But these guys are in their own little bubble. I mean, they know what's at stake come tournament time, but they're in their own little bubble. Like, this is a rivalry game for all we know, and they're trying to win the conference for the 3rd time in 4 years, whatever it is for the program. I mean, as someone who played, let's call it irrelevant sports, I certainly understand that when you're in your own little bubble, this stuff matters, and winning a conference title and stuff like that is important. So I think they're both going to bring it in terms of the desire, but you're right. Like, it's not the last game or end all be all.
No, both 1 and 2 seeds get a double bye to the semifinals in the Southland. So both are going to get that and those last, and it's on a neutral. So you're really not getting any home court advantage,
right?
Or a 1 versus 2 seed advantage. These two are probably going to play in the Southland title anyway. Although, how about that? It's at McNeese's place. the tournament. So that's so no matter what, McNeese is going to be the home team for that. Pretty interesting.
Sometimes they do, like here in Las Vegas, they move it to a different arena, or that's probably not the luxury, but they design the court differently, and the team has to use the other locker room, stuff like that. So sometimes they tweak it as much, but the travel's non-existent for that home team.
SFA and McNeese money line parlay at -190 tonight, huh? How about that?
Daily double entry there, maybe?
Money line parlay together. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Could be. Other than that, that's it, Doug, for tonight. Unless Coppin State and Howard gets you going, or
Howard's, wouldn't be the first time they were involved in the show.
No, it would not. That's very true. Look how many threes allowed by NC State this year. From
good point.
They tee it high and let it fly from downtown. If you're Duke tonight, you probably see a lot of that. All right, there you go. Monday night. And this is really, honestly, Doug, the last I'll call light night of college basketball.
Yeah.
For the foreseeable future, to be quite honest with you. Like, it is 100% green go every night going forward, because we're going to get into usually Tuesday, Wednesdays heavy anyway with the big conferences. And then you're going to mix in now all these small conference tournaments all through the next week and a half. It's on now. So this is your last night to get a rest because it's about to start happening.
Take the wife out, do all your duties.
Get all that. There you go. Betting Weekly live here on a Monday. Mike Carver and Doug Kezirian. How about this for the tennis fans out there? Of course, we know we have many of you watching the channel, the Betting Weekly Studios channel. How about a fifth major bonus bet? What's that? Tennis fans know that Indian Wells is the fifth major, kind of like the Players in golf. And Bet Rivers is giving bettors a bonus swing for the event. Players in New York or New Jersey can take advantage of our fifth major bonus bet from Betting Weekly. Enter the bonus code BW32 in your Bet Rivers app to receive a $10 bonus bet to use on the Indian Wells BNP Paribas Open. That code again, BW32, and it's available to Bet Rivers bettors in New York and New Jersey. Offer ends on March 15th. Must be 21. Eligible players only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Fifth major bonus bet for the tennis out at Indian Wells. All right, Doug, let's go stay with the hoops. NBA for this evening. And we do have some significant injury information with one of these four games, and it's the first one we'll do tonight. NBA TV just after 7:30 East as the Celtics are in Milwaukee against the Bucks. And look who's back. Giannis going to play for the Bucks tonight here. This was, I think, Doug, was this about 6.5 this morning? Something around there, 5.5, 6.5. Now 2.5 with the Giannis news, 215.5 the total.
Yeah, it's a weird stretch for Boston. And Jaylen Brown, I believe, is out. Kata is out. I think he's too sore from yesterday, just domination that they had of the Sixers. I think this is a game where, I don't know if you want to call it the Ray Guy game, but they're punting, I think, in this one. It's in Milwaukee, and they're just hoping the scrubs can get it done because, just this run, if the Celtics play, okay, they played yesterday, so it's a back-to-back, then a day off, then Wednesday, and then Friday. It's just a lot, right? It's 4 games in 6 nights. It's pretty remarkable. So I just think it's one of those, hey, let's go to Milwaukee. We'll try to get this game. Obviously, originally they maybe weren't, planning for Giannis. But it's a lot of Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, Derek White, and then the guys that no one, non-Celtics or non-casuals haven't heard of. Hugo Gonzalez, Shireman, Vucevic is going to get some run. So I actually like the Bucks here. I think this is a game where Boston has to, but Boston with that variance of 3-pointers and everything, you just got to be careful. Like I had the Nets plus 17.5 on Friday, and I'm loving life mid-third. They're down 4. Okay. And then they lose by 40. So you just have to be careful with the Celtics. It's just one of those weird variance teams.
They certainly are. But let me ask you this about the Bucks, since we now have Giannis back in the fold for tonight. They are 3.5 back of Atlanta, 3 back of Charlotte. This is to get in the play-in. Now, I'm going to extend it a little further. A healthy Giannis Bet Rivers right now has the Bucks at 10-1 to make the playoffs. That would mean they would have to get in the play-in tournament and then advance out of it to win that 10-1. But with a healthy Giannis, Doug, is it live?
Well, if they were in the West, you could book it. It'd be minus money because teams are actually not trying to win. Now, in the East, everyone's actually competing. Now, the Bulls are not, although they got their first win yesterday. Congrats to them. There's 5 teams competing for 4 play-in spots. Like Orlando obviously wants in. Miami, well, they're a staple here, but they're frustrated, but they're trying. Atlanta, obviously trying. And Charlotte is toast of the town. So
Yep.
I think you have to factor in all that. But yeah, I mean, one way or another, the Bucks have sort of designed this team like they wanted to originally. They have shooting all around Giannis, and that's what they envisioned when they ate the contract of Dame and everything. If you look at what's surrounding him, it's Derry Bird, AJ Green, Ryan Rollins can shoot. They have other shooters. If Cam Thomas, they signed him. He's a bucket. Kevin Porter Jr. So there's tons of shooting, and Giannis just changes everything. So I think this team is pretty dangerous.
And I'm just looking at their schedule just for this month. They're playing. They got 2 with the Hawks. They have the Heat. Like, they're going to play these teams
right
that are right in front of them. I mean, I don't think it's the worst if you want to have a little blast with that, Doug. Bucks to make playoffs at 10-1. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, and we talk about it like in March Madness, right? When it's single elimination, win the region, you can just roll over parlay. But that's not the case here. You can lose 3 in here, all that stuff. So I would say I wouldn't bet the minus 5,000. Let's put it that way.
There you go. From that side of things. The late television game. This is actually NBC ESN Peacock tonight, just after 10 o'clock East, where the Clippers are 1.5-point road favorites in Golden State against the Warriors. 215 flat the total.
I really like the Clippers here. Really, really like the Clippers. I know they just played last night and travel, but they didn't work up much of a sweat. Pelicans cut it to 1, had a chance to take the lead, and then the Clippers just flipped the switch. I think people are sleeping on the Clippers and this new look Clippers team. They lost 3 straight, but that was to the Lakers, Orlando, and Minnesota, right? Those are good teams. They beat Denver at home in a monster game. And with Kawhi, like, he's got this on-off switch. I mean, I know he's a cyborg, so it makes sense, but he's got this on-off switch where he's as good as they come right now. So, and then the defense, and then the guys that you thought would have trouble scoring are actually scoring a little bit. So Derek Jones Jr., and then the random guys like Jordan Miller went for 19 yesterday, and Mathurin had a bad game, but he can score. I think what this Golden State team is trotting out there is embarrassing. I couldn't believe that Lakers lineup. Draymond Green's wide open for a reason. Melton, Moody, Santos. The Clippers are the Warriors are gonna have a game where they all these guys hit threes and it's like, oh my God. But for the most part, this team stinks in terms of talent level. Obviously, the Lakers crushed them because they were at full strength. I think the Clippers are a very good bet tonight.
Clippers, short road favorite at the Chase against the Warriors.
Make the playoffs. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd like to think so, but
I mean, one of those spots is going to be, you would like to think. I mean, look, if you look at it now, Phoenix is in the play-in, and we know how hard and how well Phoenix has played this year. So I'd like to think that whoever they get in the 7-10,
Clippers are in the play-in too, and they're going to get better, like Jordan Millers of the world. I think the Warriors are done. I really do. I know Steph's going to come back and change everything. I don't think this team wants to go to the playoffs.
Yeah, they don't. They just don't have that look this year.
And Portland kind of stinks at times.
Right.
So
you say, this is so different from the East, because if underneath Portland, all these teams want to lose. Now, we brought up New Orleans last, but I think that it's just too far. Like, New Orleans wants to win because they have no choice. I mean, but they're 10 back. Like that, it doesn't seem like there's enough time to make up 10 games, at least left of the season right now. They'd have to really tear off wins to have a shot. Really tear them off. I don't think that they can do that.
I think leader in the clubhouse, Clippers best bet.
There you go. Ooh, leader in the clubhouse for tonight. Elsewhere this evening, the Nuggets are in Utah against the Jazz. They are 11.5 point road favorite at 243.5. Big total tonight in Utah.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, Keontae George came back. I mean, I'm glad he's healthy. Don't get me wrong. I like him. But this is a bad Utah team. But they go on runs because they can bomb. Sensabaugh busts his tail. Collier attacks the rack. Cody Williams and Ace Bailey are athletic wings. Keontae George is excellent. Filipowski couldn't hit the broadside of a barn the other night, but he's okay. I just think Denver off a disappointing loss. How do they not just hammer them, right?
Yeah.
Now, Denver's got their own issue. Playing a lot of games recently. Murray had the flu bug and whatnot. Cam Johnson is ice cold. I can't lay it because it could be a 10-point win, but man, it's tempting to lay it. This Nuggets team has like the number one offense when they're clicking. The question is, how much do they show up? But off a loss, I don't know if you guys remember, they lost a game to Clippers, and then the next night they went and drilled Portland, dropped over 150. So they're off back-to-back losses. Now they played Friday, early game Sunday, and so I think they drill Utah because they don't have to play again until Thursday, and they're back home. So I think they go drill Utah.
Seems like that could be the way tonight. 11.5 for them here on the road. There is one other game. Any interest in the Rockets laying 2 tutties and a hook in Washington against the Wizards? 225.5 is a pretty big total for a Rocket game lately. That's a pretty big total for the Rockets.
They had the under the other day, and then Wendell Carter hit that three when it was a dribble out situation. Now, they had a schedule loss on Saturday in Miami, and you and I were having a good time with this. Now they're in D.C. By the way, Trae Young is going to make his debut on Thursday.
Ooh, wow. How nice of him. He's going to play this season.
I wonder, because it's against Utah, so I wonder if it's like, hey, we're going to lose anyway. Let's just pretend we're trying and bring Trae out for this game. Sorry, they're going to win anyway is my point. I apologize. I think Houston gets back on track. They don't play again until Thursday. This Wizards team, I haven't quite figured out. I mean, we kind of know what they are, but some of the young guys play hard and all that stuff. They're not the Jazz, although those guys play. I guess I've just watched a lot more Jazz games, but I'd lay it if I had to. But this Rockets team, they can go cold a little. I wonder if it's going to be a hangover from Miami, literal and figurative.
Yeah, that was another one that was good on Saturday. Them losing to the Heat. So we spotted that one as well.
Yeah, I got a little nervous when Norm Powell was a late scratch.
They took care of business. Rockets had that Miami fever after being out there in South Beach the night before for an afternoon game. There you go. 4 games tonight. Any futures as we hit March coming down the stretch? I know we've talked about Knepel a lot, and he has finally hit minus money, right, Doug? You finally got Knepel in minus money?
Yeah, I mean, now I'll say this. If you're going to bet it, it may not make the most sense right now because Cooper Flagg's going to return. Dallas plays in Boston, and he's from Maine, so the entire arena will be probably chanting MVP or ROI when he's at the free throw line or something. But they love him there. He's a native son, if you will. So maybe he gets a little bit of a boost. I just think Knepel's playing too many valuable games. They're running the offense through him in a lot of ways because LaMelo's not playing a ton of minutes. I don't see, Edge going 100-1 for a reason. So he's going to win. That's just, we've been saying it since blue in the face when he was 5-1 and 4-1, 3-1. I'd say let it go right now, but stay ready. Stay ready just because Flagg's expected to return. He could have some monster games that changes this. So I just wonder, now, if you grabbed 5-1 or 4-1, maybe you can sprinkle a little bit to get your money back on Flag plus 140. Because if he goes off in Boston, then we have ourselves, a race.
Down the stretch we'll go with those two if they're both actually playing. We've talked about Naz Reid a lot. Things are starting to lock in here, Doug, with some of these awards. Starting to get a little locked in with a month to go.
Yeah, famous last words, but I don't see how Naz Reid doesn't win 6-man. He won it last year. He's so good. He's playing valuable time. with Minnesota, and there's just really no one who can compete with him in the market. Keldon Johnson's a nice piece, former Olympian, but he doesn't get enough production. He's not really the sixth man. Sometimes he's the eighth man. I'd say Reed Shepherd's interesting. He's a big piece of what they're trying to do. I don't think Jaquez has a chance. Hardaway Jr., I mean, again, he's not even the sixth man sometimes. He's the eighth man. DeSomo, too late to the party. Grayson Allen's been hurt off and on. Jeremy Grant's been starting a lot. I don't think that's going to change. I like beef stew a lot, but the brawling, maybe not part of the voters' strong suit. I think Naz Reid's going to be minus 200 in a week, But again, avoiding not betting something that is even money, like it's not the end of the world, but I think it's a winner. I really do.
Yeah.
But you have to factor in injuries. I mean, that's part of this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You've been looking at the coach of the year too. Got some big numbers for coach of the year.
Charles Lee, 30-1. If you look at the market, what if Detroit doesn't get the 1 seed? Okay. What if they lose this and it's Cleveland or something in East, and Atkinson won it last year? I think Missoula's going to get some buzz. He's right there as well, right? So Missoula's the second favorite. And what he's done with Boston is really impressive. And, let's say they weave Tatum in, which is expected this week, and then he plays well and they could get the 1 seed. I just think what Charlotte's doing, and if they win the division, we've already told you about the division, like 31. I don't think Mitch Johnson's going to win. He's the Spurs coach. He's not going to win. He has 99% chance he's not going to win, because it's going to be Wemby buzz. Like if the Spurs get whatever it takes for Johnson to maybe get consideration, is going to be like a Spurs 1 seed or something. It's going to be Wemby MVP, right? So I think Charles Lee's right there. I really do. But Jordan Ott deserves votes. I just don't think he's going to get it. Phoenix has cooled off a little bit, but I think Charles Lee could be 12-1 in a few days.
He kind of fits the profile that I usually love, Doug, with coach of the years. And this is in all sports. I always want the guy who got so much more out of a team than you thought.
Yeah.
Whether you look at win totals and you want to do that. And honestly, that's why Missoula is good too. I mean, when Tatum was going to be out for the year, which I guess now he's not, right? Doug, I didn't even mention that before. I guess Tatum is going to play.
It looks like this week. I mean, it looks, yeah.
But everyone thought Boston was going to be awful this year, and Boston was, they might miss the playoffs, maybe a play-in team, and he's got him second in the East. So I think that for me, it's Missoula or Lee. And nothing against Biggerstaff. It's just, I mean, Detroit was good last year. I know they've taken a step up this year, but they're going to be right around a little bit over the win total, but not that much like Charlotte was possibly going to be when we get to the end.
Yeah, and I think we've seen some late pushes. Now, when Tibbs won this in New York, it was definitely a late push in the season, but that was the New York kind of boost. So you got to factor that in. Obviously, Charles Lee does not have that. I just think there's a buzz with Charlotte, no pun intended. And I think they're really going to get a lot of momentum in this sort of just excitement when the playoffs roll around. And for a team to do that, and they've had a bunch of injuries, and to be so young, they're all 23 or whatever it is. I've made worse bets. If it were 40-1, I'd absolutely be betting it. I do think this could get to 12-1 in a few days.
There you go. If you got a state that's got the coach of the year, hop in the car. I'd have to do that to go over to Jersey.
And most improved, my man. I don't know how Jalen Duren doesn't win this. He's gone from – he was 75-1 a month or two ago. I know Massaro has that ticket.
He's got that?
139. Yeah. And it's always that new all-star kind of guy. He's been absolutely my problem was there was all these dudes who were worthy at the time. Yeah. Avdia, all these guys. Keontae George has been fantastic, but because of the tanking, he's not playing. Anthony Black now starting in Orlando, been great. Jalen Johnson's a stud. But Duren's just been an absolute beast and an all-star and really a key cog in what the Pistons are doing as the 1 seed. Ryan Rollins has come out of nowhere and running the show there in Milwaukee. So it's just a lot of guys taking that next step, and Duren's established himself because he's been an absolute monster.
obviously you would know this. You know this better than me. But man, Macero's good grabbing those deep, long
He's got a
shots.
lot of ones
Man.
in his wastebasket too.
I know he does. I'm sure, and that's part of that game. When you're
It
playing
is
that
part of the
game,
game. No, you gotta have to. Yeah.
But you get a couple of them, and you don't care that the wastebasket's a little filled.
Correct.
You get a few. There you go. NBA 4 games for tonight. Betting Weekly Live here. Mike Carver, Doug Kezirian, of course, Betting Weekly Studios. Follow the channel on YouTube if you like us, and you can check out all of our other shows, including released earlier today, Betting Weekly EPL. Dan Roebuck, Nigel Seeley, and Jack Wright share their betting predictions for match day 29 in the Premier League, including a revisit of the tense title race between Arsenal and Man City. Betting Weekly EPL. Dan, Nigel, and Jack have got you. Go check it out on the Betting Weekly Studios channel along with us. All right, pucks now, Doug. Same thing as the NBA, kind of a light night. Not a lot going on here. Before I move on, MT Smith already invested in the Hornets division. Might as well throw another 30-1 log in the fire. Why not? With Charles Lee. Getting involved. That's the one that I like throwing that out there. I like throwing another log on the fire, Doug. I throw that out there sometimes. 5 games in pucks tonight. There's actually a game going on now. If the Red Wings are up 3-2 on the Predators.
What?
Yes. Now,
what are we doing here? Why is there a game today?
I saw this morning.
Final minute.
I went, what the hell's going on here? Why are these guys playing at 2:00 in the afternoon in Nashville? The NHL, remember, they're trying to grow the game, Doug. So these two teams have a lot of European players on it, a lot of Swedes, a lot of Finns, etc. They did a primetime night in Europe to broadcast the game because most games, of course, come on at like 2:00 in the morning in Sweden. So they played this game at 2 p.m. It's part of the NHL's initiative to grow the game and let the people in Europe catch a primetime game on their side. So that's what they did with the Red Wings and the Predators today. They've done this with, I guess they moved a couple games to 2 p.m. for this. So
the WNBA does this during the summer where they have camps that come,
right.
So maybe they can do that. Unfortunately, we won't have the 6-7 yelling like we do in these basketball games unless it's a really high scoring game.
Get a lot of that yelling around my house too with my kids, Doug. They're all in on that. My softball team, my flag football team, 6-7. They all yell at me. All right, 5 games tonight.
It's the equivalent of the adult, that's what she said, right? That's what we did.
I guess so. It is what it is at this point. We're a couple games in now since coming back from the Olympic break. There's one TV game tonight, which is on NHL Network. Columbus is in the Garden against the Rangers. Now, Columbus, they were the exact opposite of coming out. We thought they were hot. They had a 7, 8, 9 game winning streak going into the break. Now they've come out and lost their first 2 games. They don't look anything like the same team that went into the break on fire. And now they go to the Garden where, believe it or not, Doug, the Rangers haven't played bad these 2 games coming out of the break. They've gotten Shesterkin back. He played. Now they lost a game, and I think that's the shootout to the Flyers. Then they beat the Penguins on Saturday afternoon. So maybe the Rangers here with Shesterkin back in there can get a little something going. Columbus hasn't looked good. I like the Rangers tonight plus 108 at home against Columbus. How about that?
What about the under with Shesterkin? The couple 3-2 games.
I don't mind that, but I think that the Columbus has played a couple. They've been giving up some goals here out. 4-3 with the Islanders Saturday, 4-2 with the Bruins on Thursday. I know earlier in the season we were very, we stayed away from the Rangers. They were so awful at home, but they've come out playing a little better here. Whether it's Sully bringing a little bit of that Olympic gold medal magic back with him from Milan. I don't know. The season's over. There's nothing to play for. And by Friday's the trade deadline. They're probably going to lose 2 or 3 more guys by Friday.
Right.
But I don't like the way Columbus has looked these first 2 games out of the break. And I like the way Shesterkin's looked. He's looked pretty good. So Rangers plus money at home.
What about Columbus team total?
Columbus team total. Let's see what they're giving us for that here, Doug. It's maybe 2.5. I'm going to do the under.
Oh, it's not going to be 2.
Let's see what we got here for us. Total goals, Columbus. Under 3 minus 115.
Takes 4 to beat you.
Sold. I don't mind that. How about I go like, like you like said, maybe halvesies, maybe half Ranger money line, half on the Blue Jackets under 3. Do a little
I had a
halvesies.
buddy, I had a mentor, an old guy back in the day who was telling me about, once you get you're older, you get married, he goes, then you go halvesies with a couple kids. He described so ridiculous.
Elsewhere this evening, we have a coach getting fired over the weekend. A rare situation, a guy getting fired after a win, which is what happened in Los Angeles. Hiller out. DJ Smith's going to be the interim coach. Of course, the Kings have looked brutal. Now, remember, they beat Calgary. So that's why we have to, remember that win that they had. Mm-hmm. And now you have, but here's where we might not get the usual new coach bump. You have Colorado coming in. That's not who you want coming in with the new coach bump.
Oh,
how about Colorado?
Why don't you let the guy stick around for another game, take it on the chin?
How about Colorado puck line plus 132 tonight in LA against the Kings?
Kings, a little extra boost here. The new coach.
I don't think so, John. Will the new coach bump be enough to boost the Kings to within reach of the Avs? I don't think so.
You're not seeing it?
I'm not seeing it. I'm really not. Day puck, yes. And the Detroit just got an empty netter, 4-2. They're going to beat.
That must have been with like 20 seconds to go because it was a 1-goal game with 30 seconds to go.
Wings due for a day game win. Well, they got one, Crooked Chef. Wings did get themselves a day one. The other one tonight is Dallas, who has been on fire. I love that, Steve. I think we talked about that a while ago. Under 92.5 points for the Rangers. Absolutely going in the right direction for that. If I get a sweep, if Landeskog starts ripping pucks into the net. Dallas coming into this evening, Doug, they have been very good out of the break. Now, they've won 8 in a row overall. Obviously, a portion of that was before the Olympic break, but they have stayed hot here. They're in Vancouver, one of the team. They are the worst team in the NHL now. They've lost 5 in a row if you split the breaks. This is another puck line, plus 125, minus 1.5 for Dallas tonight.
You tell me. I think if they're on fire, I think they cover the puck line. So I think it's a good angle to think like that.
Yeah. I like that more than going Colorado.
Yeah, puck line's tough though, man.
It is. It's tough. Vancouver is horrible.
Really?
Horrible. Vancouver. They are horrible.
And the goaltending's bad?
Yeah, they actually have this guy starting tonight. He's got like a 3 3/4, 3.75 goals against.
Are we tanking in the NHL? Because I always say I don't understand why it doesn't happen in the NFL more. Like next year, if we don't see tanking in the NFL with Arch and all these quarterbacks,
this is a bit of a tank year with this McKenna from Penn State. This is a bit of a tank year.
That's my question.
So yeah, and the way the Canucks have basically sold off almost everything that's not bolted down. They're really bad. So I think this is a green light for the Stars tonight on the puck line. Isn't Dallas Dallas is missing Rantanen. He's been out though, Steve, even these past couple. Rantanen's been out since the Olympics. Seguin's been out forever. This Stars team is very good. Stars team is very good.
Do it. Don't look back.
I'm in for it. You also have the Flyers in Toronto. Toronto is just, they got all kinds of problems, but I can't back the Flyers, Doug, so I'm not going to go anywhere there. And Carolina makes the trip out to Seattle. I guess that's the start of a West Coast trip for them. And they're laying some pretty good lumber. Seattle hasn't been awful, honestly. Seattle hasn't been that bad. I think they're in a playoff spot right now, too. So they're plus 150 at home. But I don't like any of those, Doug. I won't be involved tonight in those other ones. So I'm just going to play that Dallas puck line. And the Rangers. And the little halvesies with Columbus team total under 3. Almost want to make that the best bet now. I might want to make that Columbus team total. I was thinking about college hoops, but
it's no fun to have a push too. Like that's the only problem.
Well, that would be the.
We have one early on. We have one.
We did have one early. We try to stay away from those. There you go. Hockey for tonight. That brings us to the best bets and the daily double for tonight on Betting Weekly Live. You know what? Oh man, this line moved, huh, Max? So we had Stephen F. Austin 6.5 earlier in the show. Now it's 7.5.
Ugh. Yeah.
All right. You know what? I'm calling the audible. Probably gonna hurt us. probably going to hurt us. I'm going with that
You
Stars.
can do an alt line. You can go back to, you can get your 6.5.
I'm going to take the Stars puck line in Vancouver. Stars,
Okay.
and that's going to juice us up here. Plus 125.
Very aggressive.
Stars minus 1.5 in Vancouver tonight against the Canucks. We'll go puck line. I think it might be only the first or second time I've done puck line on the best bet, but I'm going to take it tonight, Doug.
Well, if Vancouver's that bad and they're tanking, and, I don't know if they can pull some of the stuff we've seen in the NBA.
We're going to sweat.
with
I mean,
lineups.
we could be sweating for an empty netter at the end, but I'm going to give it a shot tonight with the Stars.
Well, I'm going late night as well, and I'm going to that Clippers game. I just like the vibe with this team right now, and Golden State, like, there's a path where they win by 10 but all the wins have been just ridiculous shooting and stuff like that. Clippers are solid. Clippers are a solid outfit right now, and they have some nice pieces, and I think they really like the chemistry right now with this team. I think it's a smart value play, and there's, frankly, there's nothing else on the board. So this would be one of those best bet denominations where I would avoid, a regular size bet. It's a good question. We got Kawhi rebounds. I don't know what to make of this guy anymore. I know the Warriors are super small. John Collins, took a hit hard, so I think he's out tonight. But Garland's supposed to make his debut, I believe. But Kawhi rebounds, he's been going under except for the Orlando game, so maybe that's an under. Now and see, it's funny. We bring up Kawhi rebounds, and I'm thinking it's been an under pivot because of all these bigs they now have and Derek Jones Jr. And that's actually tempting. Do we dare make the pivot?
DeFars wants the Stars money line parlay with Duke money line or Arizona money line. How about Stephen F. Austin money line? DeFars with the Stars money line. We should have did that one.
All right, let's go Kawhi under rebounds. You know what? I think that's a really actually good angle. Back to back. Sorry, Max, we have to change this. Let's go Kawhi under.
Right, I got the quick pivot here. I got that game open.
Hold on, yeah, Kawhi under.
So it's 6.5 right now at minus 110 there. So that means, all right, this might be one of the bigger ones. This might be the biggest daily double we've done since we started, and that's because of the plus one.
Oh boy, is it.
So Stars minus 1.5 in Vancouver. Kawhi under.
Hold on. Can I offer I did a late change. Maybe if we're gonna do it, we'll get it all out of the way now. What about a -1?
Okay. Let's go around here. Let's see what we have.
Plus 100.
Okay. Regular time. Puck line -1. We'll take out the 1.5. Still gets us to 282.
I mean, I know we don't like pushes.
Gives us the open door for the push. Gives us a little protection there in case they don't get the empty netter at the end, is what we're saying.
And then you can do halvesies that way,
Yeah. Now we would do it obviously regular time or with the OT.
I think you do with the OT, don't you? Give you a little protection.
So then that's going to make
losing bets that would have won is like the most painful thing. So when you do alt lines in NBA and you lay like 9.5 instead of 5.5 and it lands 7, I literally want to punch a wall.
So that'll go us to 234 because it's minus 134 if you include the overtime.
Okay.
I don't. They're not.
Your call. It's your best bet.
You know what? No, I'll do the -1 regular time.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, because they're not. This game's not going to overtime. This game's not going over.
So when the goalie gets pulled, it's extra sweaty.
When the goalie gets pulled, it's extra sweaty. I got plus 282. So Kawhi under. We are all over the place today. Yeah. That's okay. Kawhi under 6.5 pounds. Stars -1 in regulation. Plus 282 for the daily double tonight. All puck line in regulation -1. Plus 282. Didn't want to get into the threes tonight with that full puck line. So we went with the plus 282. Daily double for tonight on Betting Weekly Live. There you go, Doug. We're ready now. We're good to go. Sorry, Max. We made it. We are back tomorrow, 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m. Pacific for a Tuesday Betting Weekly Live, where we, of course, have a huge night of college basketball Lots of NBA and NHL. Very busy Tuesday night for us here on the first Tuesday in March. Enjoy all the games tonight. Mike Carver, Doug Kezirian, Betting Weekly Live. And we will see you back here tomorrow, 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m. Pacific on Betting Weekly Live.